Welcome to Foundation Degree in Environmental Science and Sustainability. Okay, next slide. Is this course for you? So we're looking for students that have specific interest in conservation biology, ecology, environmental science and sustainability. This course will enable you obviously to continue education, to perhaps top that up onto a BSc honours degree. And it's definitely applicable to those that perhaps have had some time out of education and are wishing to return. So this is very much here designed to help you secure knowledge and skills, and we're covering a wide range of units and modules, and it gives you the opportunity obviously to develop professional and academic standards. This degree is kind of very much been handpicked with unit-wise to make sure that we've covered a huge amount of bases in the environmental science field, which will hopefully serve you well in terms of when you want to go on to future career sort of aspects. Next slide. Okay, so the previous slide said at the end there, this course has been validated through Bournemouth University. You will be studying it at the Lackham campus. Okay, that's where your home or your base will be. However, the actual validation is through Bournemouth University, which I'll talk more about in coming slides. So the lecturing team is all experienced, okay, successful. Have all been running HE courses for a number of years, and all of us have postgraduate qualifications. At Lackham campus, we're a newly built science centre. Okay, we have access to laboratory, which we'll use quite a lot of. There's also home to sort of ancient woodland, marshlands, and riverways, which is areas that we'll be able to carry out some scientific studies as well as doing some ecological surveying. The whole time you're here and you'll be studying with us, you'll be receiving one-to-one support. Okay, and that's from all your unit tutors, as well as myself, who will be your programme leader. Next slide. Okay, so the start date is September. So it's going to be the third week of September now, although enrolment will be a few weeks before that. Okay, it's a 2-year course which will attain 240 credits. And we also have a part-time option, which means you can actually space your studies over the course of 3 years. Next slide. Okay, so just a quick overview of the first year modules would be academic writing skills. Okay, that's very much building your confidence. Okay, and again your skill in actually being able to write things like scientific papers, be able to analyse articles, and actually write scientifically. Okay, then we have environmental geography. Okay, which is a very broad-based geography, following things like rock cycles and looking at things like tidal movements. Okay, so that's quite a broad unit. Okay, your essential biology. Okay, that's like a really stepping stone unit in sort of giving you your basics and essentially your underpinning knowledge that you're going to need to conduct any sort of kind of science over the next 2 years. Ecological sciences, that'll be actually carrying out physical surveys as well as giving you some sort of background information into kind of the fundamentals of ecology. Okay, mathematics concerns sort of statistics and actually doing maths for science, so building graphs and carrying out things like data analysis. And then your laboratory skills, okay, will be should be hopefully a practical session whereby you'll actually be carrying out specific experiments which are student-led and tutor-led in a lab environment. Next slide. So year 2, the modules kind of diverse a little bit more. They diversify a little bit more, and you've got human impact on the environment. You've got your professional development portfolio. Okay, that's whereby you're actually building your own portfolio, whereby you can essentially specialise into an area of your choice. You've got sustainability and management in practice, looking at kind of the future of things like agriculture, okay, and offshore farms and what have you. Sustainable energy and the environment, biodiversity and conservation, okay, which speaks for itself. Okay, and we've got work-related project whereby we're expecting you to actually go out and work alongside an employer. Next slide. Okay, so you'll have a mixture of assessments, okay, which is standard across a degree. which will essentially could be any sort of format or mixture of written reports, posters and presentations, practical lab-based skills essentially that you might have to be assessed on, exams, okay, and portfolio building, as we said with that last unit. This assessment plan I will provide you at the start of the year, okay, and it will give you essentially when everything is due out and when everything is due to come back in, okay, and you will receive sort of constant guidance and one-to-one support with your unit tutor as well. The exams will be running in May. Okay, we leave those to the end of the year. Okay, but I do really encourage 100% attendance as part of your course. And all your modules and gradings, they'll be graded in a sort of traditional degree sense in terms of anything from a third and first class. Next slide. Okay, so during the aim of the course, we aim to try and support you to reach your best potential, and also making sure that we can kind of support your personal your personal. Sorry, is it? Yeah, so it's just sort of supporting. Sorry, your personal. I couldn't read the slide then. Supporting your personal sort of goals and aspirations and what it is that you wish to achieve. So we're going to look at ways that we can focus your work. Okay, so again, like your work-based project and what have you. Okay, and look at work-related experience again, and that's something that we'd expect you to then be looking out, and we'll try to agree that with your marking tutors. Further support we can offer. Okay, things like study skills and time management. As well as the college having a range of general student services. Okay, so that's things like admissions support and financial and careers advice. Next slide. Okay, so there's a mixture of possible careers you can go, everything from being educational officer, wildlife conservation, field biology, even things going into sort of environmental sectors, things like advisors and waste management, estate management. So there's a nice long list there. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the entry criteria for the programme, okay, is that we're looking for a minimum of 4 GCSEs at grade C or above. That's in English, maths, and science, and appropriate A levels as well. Okay, so we generally look for 3 A levels. We have got other appropriate alternatives, okay, and applications for things from mature candidates, and we'll also sort of consider by a person-by-person basis. The tuition fees for the course, okay, we actually will only be asking for those on an ad hoc basis for the first year that this programme's running. So you pay for things you need as we're doing them essentially. And that's the same for when we're running things like trips and visits and what have you as well. Okay. Any concerns though regarding above? We do advise, or I certainly would advise you to discuss these with the admissions team. Next slide. Okay, so applications are all still through UCAS. We are currently accepting applications, and we will do all the way up until essentially enrolment. So don't feel like this, but it's too late to perhaps be applying. Do speak to our HE admissions team. The HE admission team's email's there, it's on the slide. And hopefully I'll be able to support you again with sort of assistance and advice in regards to your application, your interest. Next slide. Okay, so that's the final one. I've essentially got time for questions, so if there's any questions. Okay, cool, no questions. Brilliant, thank you very much.